We are on the record at 10:05 a.m. Pacific time on October 5th, 2021, to begin the deposition of Albert Preciado in the matter of Luna et al. Versus Preciado et al. This case is venued in Superior Court of the State of California, County of Los Angeles, Central District. The case number is 20STCV 08687. This deposition is taking place via Steno's Steno Connect platform. The legal videographer is Coco Gagel, here on behalf of Steno, and the court reporter is Kyung Lee Green, also here on behalf of Steno. Would counsel please identify yourselves and state whom you represent?
Alan Romero on behalf of plaintiffs.
Margaret Suddy on behalf of defendants.
Thank you, counsel. Would the reporter please swear in the witness?
Please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in the following proceeding?
Me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Mr. Preciado, did you upload a video to your YouTube channel on April 6, 2021 called How to Build a $50 Million Revenue Company?
Sounds like it, but I don't remember. I upload videos every day.
So you don't remember if you claim to have a $50 million company?
No.
Okay. Did you upload a video on April 7th, 2021 saying making $50 million is not enough?
I don't remember.
Would you like me to show it to you since you don't remember?
If I don't care.
Okay. Which of your companies makes $50 million in revenue a year?
Am I allowed to answer that?
I'm just going to object as to right to privacy.
Yeah. I mean, that has nothing to do with the case.
I'm just going to say objection, right to privacy.
Well, counsel, what right to privacy does he have if he's talking about his net worth on the... I know it's a fraud, and I know he doesn't make $50 million. I know he's making fraudulent representations, so he's under oath, you know? So he's under oath. The whole world's watching you, Mr. Preciado. Why don't you tell me what company of yours makes $50 million a year?
Again, objection, right to privacy, and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Okay, but you're not. She's not instructing you not to answer.
I am instructing my client not to answer.
Okay, so you can't tell me which of your companies makes $50 million. Is that correct, Mr. Preciado?
It's none of your business.
Mr. Romero, my objections were already stated on the record. I already instructed my client not to answer. If you'd like to make a motion to compel those answers, you're welcome to do that.
Okay, I'd like the reporter to mark that as a question 1. Okay. You have been sued by 3 of your employees in this case, haven't you?
I believe so.
Okay. Is there something wrong with your memory today that you don't remember uploading videos and you don't remember who sued you?
I upload a lot of videos, so I upload maybe 2-3 videos a day, so I'm not going to remember that. And my marketing team helps me with that too, so.
Well, will you at least admit that you filmed and uploaded a video saying that you have companies that make $50 million?
If you
remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Have you ever been diagnosed for dementia or other memory loss related diagnoses?
No.
Okay. What's the process for you filming a video? Who uploads it to your YouTube channel?
The process for my videos, to answer your first questions, are because I inspire and I motivate a lot of people. You know, like I help a lot of people with entrepreneurship. We had our biggest event last weekend. Over 2,000 people showed up. Everybody was happy. I like to think of myself as somebody that likes to help people and reach their dreams. And that's why I do videos. Now, who does my videos? I have had videographers do my videos, and then I upload some, they upload some.
Okay. Do you control the Mortgage Guy Inc., which is a California corporation?
What do you mean by control?
Do you own all the shares of the corporation?
Yep.
Okay. Does the Mortgage Guy Inc. make $50 million a year or more in profit?
It's none of your business.
Same objection as to your first question with respect to which of your companies makes $50 million. So I'm going to object on privacy and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence. If you'd like, you can file a motion to compel as to that question.
asks the reporter to Mark. So you can't tell me if the Mortgage Guy Inc. makes $50 million a year in revenue, right?
I've already objected.
Okay. Well, if income is none of our business, why are you making videos saying how much you make $50 million a year on the internet?
Again, same objection. I'm just going to have a standing objection to these types of questions.
So are you instructing him not to answer why he put?
I am.
Wait, you guys are talking on top of each other. Please, you need to speak one at a time.
Yes, I am instructing my client not to answer these types of questions.
Okay, mark that. That's number 2. Instruct not to answer. 1 second. How many employees does the Mortgage Guy Inc. have?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Mr. Romero? I couldn't understand the first part of the question.
You have the reporter read it back.
How many employees does the Mortgage Guy Inc. have?
So I could answer that. I am not 100% sure, but I have my senior controller that knows the exact numbers. We've been hiring people recently, so I don't know the exact number.
Okay, well, you're a licensed mortgage broker in California, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay, and pursuant to the rules of the Department of Real Estate, you're required to know how many employees you have, aren't you?
I will happily bring my senior controller and she could answer that question. I don't deal with that. I don't hire people. I do not hire people. I have my team that helps me hire people.
Well, how many people are on your payroll for the Mortgage Guy?
Ask my HR person. I don't know.
Your HR person's not here today, so I'm asking you, and you represent yourself as to be this great businessman with a great memory. I don't understand why you can't answer any questions on video.
I can get back to you on that.
Well, no, you're not going to get back to me on that. How many employees does the Mortgage Guy have? You don't know, or you won't tell me?
Mr. Preciado, you can give an estimate as to how many W-2 employees you currently have, if you know.
Okay. We have close to 14, more or less.
And is it possible to make $50 million in mortgage loan revenue with only 15 employees, based on your experience as a motivational speaker and expert in mortgage loans? Is that possible?
I never said that a mortgage company makes $50 million. So don't put words in my mouth, please.
Well, I'm not. I'm asking you to answer a question.
I don't know. Ask somebody else. I don't know.
Well, let me explain how the deposition process works. This is not, you're here to answer questions. Your attorney may instruct you not to answer questions on the basis of privilege. Okay? So I'll be frank. I know you're making all these false statements on the internet, and it goes directly to my client's case. So I get to ask you questions. We don't get to put a pin in it. I don't get to ask someone else. Well, actually, maybe I will. What's your controller's name?
Mary Freeman.
How do you spell the last name?
Freeman.
Okay. Can you give me her phone number, please? Actually, hold off on that. We'll get that during the break. I don't want that on the record. Okay. But you have her phone number, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have an email address for her?
Yep.
Okay. So I'd like you to provide that to me off the record once we go off, because I don't want that on the recording, because the recording is going online. Okay. Next is Driven Enterprise. So let's take a step back. The Mortgage Guy Inc., is that a licensed MLO, a mortgage loan origination business?
It's a mortgage broker.
Okay. And about how many mortgages does the Mortgage Guy Inc. Process last year, say in 2020? You're the responsible broker. How many mortgages did you do last year?
I don't think that's his business.
Okay, objection, right to privacy.
Okay.
I'm instructing him not to answer. It's also not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
I really think the only thing he can allege is the Fifth Amendment, because these are all fraudulent representations he's making on the internet. So, I mean, we're on the internet. Everyone's going to see our videos. The question is, will you tell me how many mortgages the Mortgage Guy Inc.? And if you don't want to tell me, that's fine. I can go and get an order. But why are you hiding this information from me?
It's none of your business. That's nothing to do with the case. The case is about something else, not that.
Yeah, Mr. Romero, again, I'm just going to be my standing objection.
And just
Wait, stop. If you guys are talking on top of each other, nobody gets on the record, and everyone needs to slow down and speak clearly. Thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Romero, again, I'm just going to make my standing objection that these are, first of all, privacy. Corporations, including closely held corporations, have a right to privacy. And also these questions are not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Okay, Mr. Preciado, you were going to tell me about what's my business and what's not my business. Why don't you tell me?
Mr. Preciado, you don't have to do that.
Well, were you going to say something, Mr. Preciado?
Nope.
Okay. So why are you refusing to tell me how many mortgages the Mortgage Guy Inc. does in a year?
He's refusing to tell you because of the fact that I already objected and instructed him not to answer.
So are you going to take your attorney's advice and not tell me how many mortgages the Mortgage Guy does a year?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And is the reason you're not telling me because it would interfere with your ability to make fraudulent misrepresentations on the internet about how much business you do?
Objection, that's harassing. And if you're going to continue down a line of harassing questions and embarrassing questions that have no legitimate purpose, then I'm going to end the deposition and seek a protective order.
Well, I'm not stopping. So you want to answer that question, Mr. Preciado? The world's watching, sir.
It's none of your business.
So you're not going to tell me?
I'm not going to tell you.
Okay. All right. How about Ambience Realty Inc., a California corporation? Are you the sole shareholder?
Is this his business? Because I could answer it, but I don't think it's his business.
Again, it's not. Yeah, this is, again, standing objection. It's right to privacy. Closely held corporations have a right to privacy. It's also not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
You're a criminal, sir. Don't you go on the internet and claim you make $50 million in order to defraud people?
If he continues to insult me like that, I would want to get off this because I got a lot of important things.
Mr. Romero, again, if you're going to continue to harass and badger my witness, I'm just going to stop the deposition right now and move for a protective order.
So just tell me, Mr. Preciado, do you make $50 million a year? The world's watching. Do you make $50 million a year? You're under penalty of perjury, you're under oath, or not?
Mr. Romero, I'm just going to stop the deposition right now because clearly you have no intention of having a, holding a legitimate deposition based on the allegations in the complaint that your clients have filed. Based on any of these causes of action, I think there's 10 or 11. You're not getting to any of them. Instead, what you're doing is you're conducting this deposition solely to annoy, harass, and to vex my client for no legitimate purpose. So why don't we just go ahead and end this deposition right now? I'll get an expedited deposition transcript and I'll move for a protective order.
I'll move on to the next question.
Well, if it's going to be the exact same types of questions as you've already been asking, then I don't believe that there's a reason to. If you have legitimate questions to ask with respect to the plaintiff's claims, the plaintiff's actual claims and the causes of action in the complaint, then I'm fine to move ahead.
Sure, let's do that. Would you agree I have a right to know if Mr. Preciado is involved with the different defendants?
If he's involved with different defendants?
Yes. I mean, we're 20 defendants. Is that private?
Wait. You guys are talking on top of each other and you're buffering out.
Okay. So, Mr. Preciado, who are the members of Preciado Acquisitions, LLC, a defendant in the instant action?
That, again, I'm going to object to on the grounds of right to privacy and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
So you're not, just to get this straight, because we are going to go in front of Judge Alarcon very shortly, you're instructing your client not to tell me if he has any ownership in Preciado Acquisitions, LLC, which is a named defendant that you've appeared for in the action. Is that correct? Just so we have a clear record.
He can tell you whether or not he has any ownership interest in it, but to the extent to which he has an ownership interest in it, the other members of it, any sort of capital, no, you're not entitled to that information.
Okay. Are you a member of Preciado Acquisitions, LLC?
Yeah.
Okay. Who are the other members?
It's none of your business.
Okay. How many employees does Preciado Acquisitions have?
Do I have to answer that? It has no business to do with the lawsuit.
Hold on. First of all, Mr. Romero, I think that you're aware that with respect to Preciado Acquisitions, I'm not representing that company, and as you know, that company has been dissolved.
Okay, so just so we have a clear record for Judge Alarcon, you're instructing your client not to answer how many employees Preciado Acquisitions currently have.
Mr. Preciado, you can answer with respect to Preciado Acquisitions how many employees it has.
0.
Okay. At its height, at its largest, how many employees did Preciado Acquisitions have?
0.
Okay. What was the business purpose of Preciado Acquisitions LLC when it was active?
Am I cool to answer all these things?
You can answer that. That's fine.
Can you repeat the question?
The court reporter would read it back, please.
What was the business purpose of Preciado Acquisitions LLC when it was active?
You know what? I actually don't want to answer that because now that I think about it, it doesn't have anything to do with the case. I mean, nothing. It's none of your business.
Okay. Well, none of your business is how people get sanctioned at their depositions for not answering. Your attorney's not instructing you not to answer. So, sir, you're going to answer my question.
I'm not.
You're not going to answer my question deposition. Is that clear?
It has nothing to do with what we're here for. Why don't you ask questions?
For 1 moment.
You know what? Not until I get an answer for this question. So I'm going to go in for sanctions. You're refusing to answer my question. Your attorney has not instructed you not to answer. So just to be clear, you're not going to answer my questions at this deposition.
I'm not going to answer that now.
Okay. Well, moving on. Mark that question, Madam Court Reporter.
If I'll answer it if.
This is not your deposition, sir. You don't get to determine which answers you do or don't give. I'm here under the Discovery Act pursuant to a court order. So if you want to disobey the court's order, I'm good with that. In fact, every time you tell me you're not going to answer, that's golden to me because I'm going to go and tell the judge you're disobeying his order.
Mr. Romero, would you please let me know which court order you're referring to? Because my understanding is that the motion to compel the deposition, as well as the motion for a protective order, both were denied.
Okay, so Mr. President, just to clarify, you're refusing to answer my question, which was, what was the business purpose of Preciado Acquisitions LLC? Is that correct? And then I'll move on. You're refusing.
I will answer it. The business purpose was to buy real estate.
Okay. And when did Preciado Acquisitions cease business?
I don't know.
Okay. Who would know that information?
My senior controller.
Okay. And your senior controller, can you remind me who that was?
Mary Freeman.
And is Mary Freeman the senior controller of the Mortgage Guy, Inc. also?
She is.
Is Mary Freeman the controller of Ambience Realty, Inc.?
She is.
How about Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
She is.
Do you have any other active entities that Mary Freeman is the controller of that we haven't discussed yet?
No.
Okay. Do you have any other active entities right now conducting business in the state of California for which you have an ownership interest?
Am I cool to answer this?
I'm just going to say objection, right to privacy again, and not reasonably calculated to lead to the discovery of admissible evidence.
Okay, but you still need to answer, sir, so go ahead.
I'm instructing him not to answer.
You're instructing him not to answer what other corporations and LLCs he operates in the state of California. Is that correct?
Currently? Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I asked the court reporter to mark that question again. I'm sorry, to mark that question. All right. You're being sued in this case, which is a case called Luis de Luna and Fidel Malara and John Zambrana, and I'll give spellings when we're done, versus Albert Preciado, The Mortgage Guy, Inc., Ambience Realty, Inc., Driven Enterprises, Inc., and Preciado Acquisitions, LLC. Are you familiar with that lawsuit?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you reviewed the complaint in that lawsuit?
No.
Okay. And that's case number 20STCV08687. Were Was Luis De Luna one of your employees?
Yes.
Which entities did he work for?
The mortgage guy.
Okay. Did he ever do any work for Ambience Realty?
The only work he did was videos. He was just video.
So he did video work for Ambience Realty, is that correct?
He did videos. He did videos for agents that work at Ambience, but he did not work for Ambience.
Okay. Who paid him for those videos?
The mortgage guy.
Okay. So the mortgage guy pays for work that is done on behalf of Ambience Realty?
They're videos for agents that work for Ambience. All he did was videos.
Okay.
And
go ahead.
That's it.
Okay. But just to be clear, is it your testimony today that the mortgage guy, that corporation, pays for videos to be shot on behalf of Ambience Realty, Inc.?
No, he did videos for agents that work for Ambience.
Okay. But you said the mortgage guy paid for those videos?
The mortgage guy paid him.
Okay. Did De Luna ever work for Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
No.
Okay. What is the business purpose of Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
The business purpose is we do events and we have people come to the events and learn entrepreneurship.
Okay.
I'm sorry, and they're what?
We help people with entrepreneurship. We teach people. So I bring speakers that are experts, and then they talk, and then they teach people like marketing, sales, business, things like that. Okay. So it's events that I pay for, and then we sell tickets, and then people go there and they go to the event.
How many employees does Driven Enterprises, Inc. have?
You have to ask my senior controller for that.
You don't know how many employees you have in your company?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Is it less than 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it more than 1?
You would have to ask her.
You don't know if you have any employees do you have 1 employee in Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
You would have to ask her.
You don't know so you're a business expert and you don't know how many employees you have, even if you even have 1 employee, is that accurate?
You would have to ask her.
Okay, sorry. I'll take as a refusal to answer, and I'm going to ask the court reporter to mark that question as well, that the deponent's refusing to tell me how many employees Driven Enterprises has.
I believe that he already answered that you would have to ask his senior controller.
Well, it's not an answer, so it's marked, and we're moving to compel.
I could answer it.
Oh, now you can answer it. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, good. We have zero employees for Driven.
Okay. So, but you said that your controller, was it Freeman? Is that her name?
Yeah.
Let me write that down. So Ms. Freeman, does she also act as the controller for Driven?
Yes.
Who pays her salary?
The mortgage guy.
So just to make sure we have clear record here and clear testimony, is it your testimony today that employees of the mortgage guy perform work on behalf of Ambience Realty and Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
You would have to ask my controller. I listen to my tax person to tell me how to run my business, so they're the ones that know.
Okay, I'd move to strike as non-responsive. Can we have the court reporter please read the question back?
So just to make sure we have clear record here and clear testimony, is it your testimony today that employees of the mortgage guy perform work on behalf of Ambience Realty and Driven Enterprises, Inc.?
Is that a answer yes or no?
Yeah.
I believe so.
Okay, thank you. All right. Did Mr. De Luna ever perform work on behalf of Preciado Acquisitions, LLC?
Never.
Okay. When did you first meet Mr. DeLuna?
I remember him just following me on Instagram, and I did a post about hiring marketing people, and then he just showed up, and he came in for his interview, and he started working for us, and he didn't work for us not even 2 months. About 2 months he lasted with us, and it was a horrible experience. He didn't do his job. It was one of the most worst experiences I have ever seen, and to add to that, I really didn't talk to him at all. I didn't deal with him. It was my wife, Sylvia Sanchez, who dealt with him and with most of the employees. I don't really talk to him at all.
Is that the type of business advice you give to your mentees, is to not talk to their employees?
I don't give that advice.
Okay. What advice do you give to your mentees about getting to know and screening employees?
Does this apply to the
objection relevance, but you can answer.
Yeah. So, what's your question again?
Could we have the court reporter read it back, please?
What advice do you give to your mentees about getting to know and screening employees?
When you hire an employee, it's important to make sure they fit your core values. Make sure they are ethical people. Not stealing, not cheating, not lying. I want to make sure they have a great attitude. I want to make sure they have work ethic. I want to make sure they have integrity. I want to make sure they have loyalty. I want to make sure they're family people, take care of their kids, take care of their parents. I want to make sure they're good people. That's the number one place to look for.
How important is ethics in running a business?
It's the most important.
How important is honesty when it comes to running a business?
Very important.
Okay. So is it important if someone who runs a business represents their annual revenues, is it important that number be accurate?
I don't get what you're asking.
Yeah, objection vague and ambiguous and relevance. If you could rephrase.
Well, relevance is not an appropriate pretrial objection, but I'd ask the court reporter to please read the question back.
So is it important if someone who runs a business represents their annual revenues, is it important that that number be accurate?
It represents to whom?
Anyone.
You say objection vague and overbroad, but you can answer the question.
Yeah, I mean, we have our, when you have a company, it's pretty easy to tell who's lying, who's making up things, and I'm sure you have access to go and look up companies and see what they make.
Well, I'm using this opportunity to ask you how much your companies make, and you're refusing to tell me. Is that accurate?
It's none of your business. It is accurate. It's none of your business.
So I think we got an answer from you. So just so we're clear, you said it is accurate that your businesses make $50 million a year. Is that your testimony, sir?
I did not say that.
Well, I know you didn't. So you don't make $50 million a year in your businesses, right?
I'm not answering that.
Same standing objection as before.
Okay. Wasn't Luis DeLuna one of your bartenders before you hired him?
Once again, I met that guy for 2 months. I knew him for 2 months, and that's it. And we had to fire him because he was very bad at what he wasn't working. He was, it was just a horrible experience. Okay. I've never met him before that. I don't have nothing to do with bartender. I don't know about bartender.
During the 2 months that you claim that Mr. DeLuna worked for you, how many days off did he have?
Oh, I wouldn't know that.
Okay. So if he said he had no days off, you don't know if that's true or not, right?
What?
Next question. Exactly.
Yeah, like he had days off.
Sir, there's no question pending. Thank you. When did you first meet Fidel Melara?
Fidel Melara, again, followed me from social media, and he had a job at an Italian restaurant that I used to go with my family at the Grove, and he was a server there. And that's where I met him.
What restaurant was that?
That was me. That was, I haven't been there in a while, but it's the only Italian restaurant that's at the Grove.
Okay. Did Mr. Melara work for you at some point?
Yeah, he was hired and he lasted a month and a half. When I fired Louis, he left with him. He quit. He kept our equipment. He kept our equipment, and then he dropped it off in the middle of the night. He didn't say anything. He just left. A month and a half he was with us.
How many days off did Mr. Melara get during the period of time that he worked for you?
I wouldn't know that. You would have to ask my senior controller.
Okay. So, well, she's not here today. We're taking your depo, and we're entitled to your best testimony.
I remember.
Wait, stop.
Yeah.
Don't interrupt me, please. I won't interrupt you. Okay. So the question is, so you don't know how many days off he got while he was working for you. Is that your testimony today?
I don't know the exact number, but they took a lot of days off, and they were late a lot.
We're not they. So we're talking just about Mr. Melara. So you're saying Mr. Melara got a lot of days off?
He had days off.
Wait. You guys have got to stop talking on top of each other. We're talking about Mr. Melara, I think is the last thing I have.
So how many days off did Mr. Melara have while he worked for you?
Plenty.
Okay. And how do you know that?
Because he would always get here late. He would go to the restroom and take long hours, and then it smelled like weed. If there's any people that work the least that I've had, he was one of them.
Okay, I'd move to strike that as non-responsive. Madam Court Reporter, could you please read the question back?
And how do you want me? The question pending is, and how do you know that? Would you like me to read the question before that to get context?
Yes, please.
Okay. Question. So how many days off did Mr. Melara have while he worked for you? Answer: plenty. Question. Okay. And how do you know that?
Because he had Saturday, Sunday off. Sometimes he would have a weekday off. Like he would have days off just like everybody that works for the company. He wasn't any different.
How do you know that he took weekdays off?
I don't know exactly what day, but sometimes people, they don't come into work on the weekdays for different reasons.
So I'm trying to get an answer with respect to Mr. Melara. So do you or do you not have any independent recollection of whether or not Mr. Melara took any weekdays off while he was employed by you?
Weekdays off, he took some weekdays off, and I don't handle that stuff, so I wouldn't know. I don't remember. He was only with us a month and a half.
So you don't know, you don't remember, right?
He was only with us a month and a half, and I wasn't in charge of keeping track of his coming to work, not coming. I don't deal with that.
Who was in charge of tracking Mr. Melara's attendance at work?
Sylvia Sanchez.
Okay. And who is Miss Sanchez?
That's my wife.
Okay. And is she employed by the mortgage guy?
No.
Okay. Is she employed by Ambience Realty?
Yeah.
Okay. Is she employed by Driven Enterprises?
She's not employed by Driven. She is my wife, and she has a real estate license. So that's how she's tied in with Ambience.
Does she have a broker's or an agent's license?
Agents.
Who is her responsible broker?
I am.
Okay. How long have you been her responsible broker?
Since she got her license, like.
And what year was that?
I don't know.
Okay. Did Ms. Sanchez ever work for Preciado Acquisitions, LLC?
No.
Okay. When did you first meet John Zambrana?
I don't even remember that.
Do you know who John Zambrana is?
Yeah, he was my video guy, one of my first video guys.
Okay. And John Zambrana worked for you at some point, is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. Did John Zambrana ever work for the Mortgage Guy Inc.?
Yeah.
For how long?
More or less like a year and a half.
Did John Zambrana ever work for Ambience Realty Inc.?
No.
Okay. Did John Zambrana ever work for Driven Enterprises Inc.?
He had maybe a few times when we did events. I don't remember though. I'm not for sure, but he did attend some of the events to record that were material from Driven.
And when you say record, you mean as
Video.
a videographer?
I'm sorry, your end of your question got cut off.
I think that the question was to me, and by record you mean videographer.
Yeah.
Okay. Did Mr. Zambrana ever work for Preciado Acquisitions?
Never.
Okay. How much, when Luis De Luna worked for you, do you recall what his salary was?
No.
Is it true you paid him less than the minimum wage?
I wouldn't know that.
Okay. So just to be clear, you don't know if you paid him less than the minimum wage, right?
I don't think so.
Okay. But you don't know.
I don't take care of that. I don't know how much he got paid.
Okay.
I didn't hire him.
Who hired him?
My wife.
Okay. Is it true you failed to pay Mr. De Luna overtime?
No.
Okay. So what was the overtime rate you were paying him then?
He never worked overtime. Like he did the opposite. He worked less.
Okay. So the question is, did you ever fail to pay him overtime? And your response, just so I'm clear, is that he never worked overtime for you.
I don't. Yeah. He never worked more than regular.
What is regular?
8 hours a day, 5 times a week, 40 hours a week.
Okay. So is your testimony that your work schedule for Mr. De Luna was 40 hours a week?
Maybe less. He would always come late.
Okay. So is it your testimony today that while employed by you, Mr. De Luna always worked less than 40 hours a week?
It seemed like that. He was always here very late. He would get here super late, like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock sometimes.
How about Fidel Millar? Is your testimony he always worked less than 40 hours a week for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. Both of them. They were two of our worst people we've ever had.
Okay. How about John Zambrana? Is your testimony he always worked less than 40 hours a week for you?
I wouldn't say that. I think he did 40 hours.
Okay. So did Luis De Luna ever work on weekends for you?
A few times.
Okay. Would that have made it more than a 40-hour week?
No, because the weekdays he didn't work. He never worked 8 hours during the week. He would always come in super late and leave early.
How many times did Mr. De Luna work a weekend event for you?
I wouldn't remember, but if I have an idea, maybe 2 or 3 times while he was here.
What type of events were those?
We had a lot of masterminds, like for the company on Saturdays sometimes, and sometimes I would go Saturdays and speak. So he went to those to record me for just 2-3 hours.
And how many times did he do that?
About 2 or 3, no more than that.
How about Mr. Millara? Did he ever work weekends for you?
It would be the same thing because they would all alternate.
Okay. So how many times did Mr. Millara work a weekend for you?
2-3 times, more or less.
Okay. How about Mr. Zambrana? How many times did he work weekends for you?
Well, he was with us for longer, like a year and a half. So he was with us he did more Saturday events. And a lot of the times what we would do is we would let them work less during the week, and then they would work on Saturdays. But I do want to add this: when they work Saturdays, you know, I would pay them for those Saturdays. I would pay them extra. Now, and I would also add this. Now, I would pay them cash. I would pay them with a check. And let me also add this. Like this was when I was barely starting my business. You know, I didn't know, I didn't have the knowledge I have now. I didn't have the resources to afford the people that I afford now, the experts that are now guiding me into making everything the right way. So back then, yeah, I did some mistakes. You know, sometimes they went Saturdays and Sundays, but I always paid them cash. I always was over generous. I always paid them extra. I did a lot of great things for them, including Fidel and Louis and Zambrano.
What type of great things did you do for them?
For example, I'm not going to remember everything, but paying them cash, paying them with check, whether it was that. I took him on trips. I let him go explore when we would go on trips, because we did like those 2-3 times. Sometimes it was Vegas. Sometimes it was other places. I would be like, go enjoy it. I would invite their significant other. I would, I'm known to do that. Other employees, like, you know, I fly their families. I pay for it. I treat them. And I mean, everybody here could ask many of our other employees, and everybody would say good things about me. So I'm a very generous person, and I treat them well. I think I pay them well enough, and yeah, I'm just here to answer questions about that, because I really feel like I'm taken advantage of right now.
Well, most people who don't pay minimum wage do often feel taken advantage of. So I understand that. So you said, I think you just made an admission though that I think it's going to be problematic. So you said so they'd work 2 or 3 hours on the weekend for you, and you would pay them for the 2 or 3 hours, right?
I wouldn't pay them for the 2-3 hours. I would pay them an amount that was generous for that time.
So how much would you pay Mr. DeLuna for working 2 to 3 hours at an event for you?
I don't remember those numbers.
But you didn't pay him for travel time, did you?
I paid him. I believe I did, because I overpaid.
Well, if you know you overpaid, how much did you pay him?
I don't remember those numbers. That's been a long time.
So how do you know you overpaid him?
Because I paid him well.
Okay. Well, if you paid him well, what does that mean to you? How much did you pay him?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
You've paid him less than the minimum wage, isn't that true?
I never said that.
I'm asking you if it's true or not.
I don't believe so.
Okay. All right. How about Mr. Zambrana? Did you ever have him do any out-of-town events for you?
It's too long. I don't remember, but I'm sure he did a few of them.
Okay. Did you pay him for travel time?
Yeah, I paid him well.
And when you say you paid him well, what does that mean? How much did you pay him?
I don't remember.
So how do you know you paid him well if you don't remember how much you paid him?
Because I always pay well.
Okay. But you don't know if you paid the minimum wage?
I never said that.
I know, that's why I'm asking you to clarify it. So you're saying that you don't know how much you paid, and you don't know if you paid the minimum wage or not. Is that accurate?
I never said that.
Okay. How much overtime did Mr. Zambrana work for you?
I don't know.
Okay. So if he said you didn't pay him overtime, you wouldn't know because you don't remember, right?
I don't remember, no.
Okay. What was your break policy for these 3 employees?
I don't know that. I don't do that. You have to ask my wife for that.
Well, I will. Thank you. Do you know if these 3 employees got their meal and rest periods every day?
Oh, definitely. Extra long periods. 2-hour lunches. They would come back. They would come back, like I said, smelling like weed. I'm not talking about all of them, but the Louis and Fidel did.
So how long were their rest periods? So not their lunch periods. How long were their rest periods? Since you know they took them, how long were they?
They would disappear like 3 or 4 times a day for like 20 minutes or more. And we couldn't find them. They would take super long bathroom breaks. They would come back smelling like weed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could go on and on with that. My wife would know more data on that.
Okay, so here's my question. As a business owner, why were you permitting them to do this over a period of months?
So this is how long ago?
I don't know. You tell me. It's your deposition.
Yeah, so 2.5 years ago. You know, like I started the business from nothing. Mm-hmm.
So did I. Okay.
I started the business from nothing, and all my own money. Mm-hmm. I've been growing every year. Mm-hmm. 2.5 years ago, you know, I was about to go out of business. Mm-hmm. Because you make millions, but you spend millions to continue to survive the business. I had to sell all my properties mm-hmm. to get that money and to continue to survive in business. It wasn't until 2.5 years where everything changed and we started doing good. So when they were around, I always paid them. They can't say I didn't pay them, but I paid them. And once they left, you know, our business took off. All that negative energy, all that toxicity went away, and we started winning. And we got to where we are today. We have a beautiful life right now. I have my beautiful daughters with my wife, and we've doubled our employees that we had back then. So like life is really good right now. But if you ask me back then why I didn't do things, it's because I didn't know. I was learning the hard way, making mistakes because nobody helped me. Nobody gave me anything. I started.
Slow down.
Yeah. So like it gets me, you know, it pumps me up because I'm one of those stories of somebody that came from nothing. Mm-hmm. And I always had people like Alan poking at me, telling me things. And you know what I did? You know how I got back to all those people? By winning.
By defrauding people. Isn't that true that you lie about
by winning. So I could see a little bit of jealousy here and you're throwing things at me.
Look,
and all that, I have nothing to hide here.
Stop.
Listen, you're interrupting me.
Stop.
You're interrupting me. I was talking. So let me finish. Don't interrupt me. So no, I'm not going to stop. You're interrupting me. I was talking. It's my turn to talk.
Wait, stop. Both of you, stop it. This is ridiculous.
I'm going to say, Ms. Preciado, try to just answer his questions. And Ms. Court Reporter, if you could repeat the last question that was pending.
Give me a minute.
Okay.
It's quite a ways back. I think the pending relevant question, as a business owner, why were you permitting them to do this over a period of months? Do you need the question before that, or?
I'm good. Because like I said, you know, it was the beginning stage of the company. It was like year 4, year 3. And I don't know everything about business. I couldn't afford the best attorney. I couldn't afford the best tax advice. I couldn't afford the best HR person. So, and I wasn't in charge of that. I was busy surviving. I was busy keeping everybody paid. My wife was in charge of them. I didn't talk to them. Every time they did something, they messed it up. Whenever they updated the website, they brought the website down. Whenever they did a video,
slow down.
Yeah. So I wasn't involved with that. So like and to answer the question, like I wasn't in charge of that.
Okay. Who was in charge of that?
My wife, Sil.
Okay, so I love it when you go on these rants because it gives me more questions. It gives me more data to ask you questions about.
Go for it.
You said that you put millions of dollars into the business. What did you put millions of dollars into that you just told me about? You said you sold properties and you had to put millions into the business. So where did those millions go in your business?
So when we were 3 years back, 2 years back, like the year one, you know, year one we did good. Year 2 we did better and better and better. And this is all on my social media. Like it's very easy for me to answer your question because I'm just repeating what I say. Like, I don't make up things, and it's easy for me to repeat it again. So when I made $3 million, you know, for a business, I spent more than $3 million. I maxed out my credit cards. I got collections to survive. I ran out of money. I spent my wife's money because I wanted to survive, because I wasn't going to quit. And then I even had to sell property 1, property 2, property 3. I made 100, 200,000 from those properties, and all that money, I used it in my business to continue to pay the rent for my lease, to continue to pay my employees, to continue to pay my agents, because I was going negative. But you know what? Thanks, because I have a heart, and I'm a real entrepreneur, and I make my real money by helping people, not making up stuff and attacking people, because I do. That's my turn to talk. My turn to talk. Please respect that. So because I started from nothing and I never gave up, and I did
stop. You know, okay. Here's how it works. You can keep talking, and Mr. Romero, you can keep saying stop. And what happens is I hear you guys cut each other off. So basically what you have is a page of stop, not making up stuff, stop, not make it, stop, not. So that's what your page, your transcript is going to look like.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, because we have someone hijacking. He thinks this is
I'm not taking this down right now. Okay, this is not. So we can.
Mr. Let's go on the record.
So wait, I was talking before you interrupted me. So I was going. I'm a real entrepreneur.
Stop. We're part of Stop. Don't you understand, Mr. Preciado? Okay, you're going on a rant. I know your hands are up. You're going on a rant like you're trying to scam people out of money, which is what you do for a living. Okay, you're a criminal. Okay, you say you make 50 million. You don't. Okay, you're a liar.
He's insulting me. I don't want to right now. I have nothing to do with it anymore. He's just jealous, and you're an idiot.
Preciado, I'd like to go off the record, please. If we can.
We're off the record. We've been off the record. I can't write this down, guys.
I can't talk to him anymore.
All right, let's go off the record for Alan. 5 minutes.
That's fine.
Okay.
Off the record at 10:57. Back on the record at 11:04 a.m.
Okay. Mr. Preciado, earlier you had told me that you put millions into your business. So here's my question. At that time you said you were putting millions in, my client said that all your bank accounts were overdrawn. So which is the accurate statement? You were putting millions into your business, or the bank accounts were overdrawn?
I was putting millions in the business, and they weren't overdrawn, but, you know, they were pretty low because, you know, it was the beginning stage, like I mentioned.
Okay. So like I said, the more you talk, the more information you give me to ask about. So these millions, you used it on rent. Where'd the other millions go that you put into your business at this time?
Can you explain that better?
Well, I'm hoping you'll explain it better. You said you took millions of dollars and put in your business. Okay. So for example, I own a business. We just bought a couple of $100,000 in furniture. You know, we're moving. So millions of dollars. What were those millions spent on when you put them into your business?
I answered that earlier, but what I meant is the money that we were making, all the money was going back into the business. So our net wasn't there. We were putting all the money back into. I was even negative at points because I was in the surviving stage. And I'm talking about 3 years ago, two and a half years ago.
Okay, so what did the millions get spent on?
Let me repeat it for the third time for Mr. Romero. But the money that the money that the company was making, all that money was going back into the company as expense. So we weren't making money net.
Okay, so that's a lie, isn't
it? Plaintiff's counsel, I'm just going to object again that you're harassing my client, and you're berating him. Your behavior is extremely uncivil during this deposition, and if you continue, once more, I'm going to stop the deposition and move for a protective order and any other available relief.
Well, last warning. This is going on the internet, so if
that's fine. I have no problem with it going on the internet.
I don't care.
Wait, there's nobody going on the record.
Stop. You don't get to talk unless I ask questions. You understand that?
So anyway, Mr. Romero, again, if you continue to act uncivilly during this deposition, you continue to harass my client one more time, I will stop the deposition right here, right now, and I will immediately move for a protective order and any other available relief. Do you understand?
So, Mr. Preciado, I'm going to ignore your attorney because nothing she says makes any sense today. So you only talk when I ask you questions. Is that clear, Mr. Preciado? We can sit here all day. You're on video. You're making a clown out of yourself, Mr. Preciado.
Okay, I'm going to stop the deposition right now. You're harassing him and you're berating him. You just called him a clown. Before you called him a liar. You called him a criminal. You called him a fraud. This is not civil behavior. So I want to note that for the record, and we're going to stop the deposition right now.
So you quit, Mr. Preciado? You're a quitter?
He's not. Please don't speak to my client directly. I'm telling you right now that we're moving. That I will move for a protective order, Mr. Preciado. Please don't say anything else.
Hey, you guys are really, Mr. Romero, you're not coming through clearly. Ms. Setti, please slow down. So
again, Ms. Court Reporter, I am stopping the deposition right now. I'm noting plaintiff's counsel's uncivil behavior throughout this deposition, such as by calling my client repeatedly a criminal, calling him a fraud, calling him a clown, and I'm stopping the deposition and I will be moving for a protective order.
You forgot quitter, which is what he is. So quit. Goodbye.
Okay, the deposition is now concluded.
And you won't answer. Oh, we're off. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Madam Court Reporter.
Wait, can we give the
yes.
video for just one chance?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. We are off the record at, I think it was 11:07 a.m.